Good morning, everyone. It's May 12th of 2025, and it happened. We finally got an agreement with China, and this is something that we have been talking about in the Discord server for the last week, and the probability of it happening, and we got it right. That's all I can say is we got it right. It doesn't mean that we can predict the future. It just means that we were able to take the data that was in front of us and make some really good decisions. One of the things that we talk about is the probability within the Discord server about any trade and how we can relate that to price action, and you can see that TQQQ is going to possibly gap up and run to this 67 area. And this was something that we talked about as far as not only TQQQ, but the other four ETFs that we follow. So if we look at SPXL here, you can see that we have this target right here at 146.52, and we are going to gap up right there as well. TNA, in my opinion, has the most room to run because we have just started. We're at a target of 33.75 and we're gapping up right now to 31.78. So that's something to think about here. And if we continue to get positive news and continue to run, these small caps are going to catch up because they were one of the very first ones to lead us down, and so this would be your first target right around that 34. And then obviously you'd want this to get enough momentum and come back up here and retest the 200 moving day average. Last but not least is a position that I took. I took UDOW and held it over the weekend, and I was rewarded uh, very well last night. I won't go into details, but these were positions that we talked about, and you can see that the target here for UDOW would be right around this 200 moving average of 93.45. The first one, of course, was this gap fill at 85.33, and you can see that we're trying to gap up right up in that area right here to fill the gap. Um, so where do we go from here? This is a question that a lot of people have asked me, and here's the truth. I don't know. I don't know where we go from here because there's nothing here that tells me that we will continue up and reclaim all this back. Now, what I do know is that with the ETFs that we follow, and the one that I like to follow closely is TQQQ. Uh, if you spend any amount of time in the Discord server, I talk about the Qs a lot. Matter of fact, it's one of our very favorite ones to trade. And what I kept pointing out to the members of the group is that I use a 10 simple moving average on all five of my bigger time frames here. And I said, you cannot discount this because this is what I believe. I believe the 10 moving average is something simple, and it just allows us to get a good idea of possibly how deep we can go. And when we started to cut through this, a lot of people started giving me they started to give me some grief as far as, well, I thought you said that 10 simple moving average was the beginning and the end. And I said, with any indicator, it's just that, guys. It's just an indicator. It's not something that predicts the future. It's just how I trade around um, the moving averages and with bigger time frames. Now, could we reverse and go all the way back through? Sure, we could, right? You got to keep an open mind. And I think that's where a lot of people run into problems with indicators, is that they just put so much faith into them. But do I want that? Absolutely not. I do not want that. Matter of fact, this stretch right here, I tell you what, every night that we went lower and lower and lower, I said two things. First of all, this is where we're targeting. This is the first target, and this is the second target. But at the same time, I know what a correction does to a lot of people. And some of you who don't know how to manage your retirement account or your cash accounts, you become just a nervous wreck to the point where the whole world feels like it's going to end. And the doom and gloom has just set in to the point where you can't function. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to stand up a Discord server and to give back to people and help them understand that we had very little chance of possibly going two up for the year. It just so happened to be that way. We were so extended. The last 4 years here gave us a tremendous bounce all the way back up here. And so this move was actually, in my opinion, very healthy because it gave us a chance to digest the last 2 years. And now that we came back down, maybe we just sit here and we chop here for a year. I don't know. What I do know is that this price action right here was beautiful. And it allowed us to sit in cash this entire time until we got down here and then move our funds back uh, into uh, the market. And that's what I did with my wife's account. And I guess some will say I got lucky. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. And I was willing to accept the fact that we could go lower, right? We still could go lower. We still could complete this 1222 rev and go all the way down here. So don't pat me on the back yet or say good things because we're not out of the woods yet. Anything can happen in the market, and that's the one thing that I want people to understand. Anything can happen. All right, keep an open mind and let's see where we go from here. All right, until we meet again, take care and God bless.